Well, hey all, welcome back to Miss Raga's Art Room. So here we are for part 3 of our collage still life, right? So let's recap. Part 1 was making these fabulous backgrounds with whatever you had, right? Part 2 were those cute little simple object drawings. I did the little top. Here, let me grab one of those. See, so one of our little top drawings here, okay? And then today, the challenge is draw an object that folds that we can add to our still life. Now this can be folds in any manner of things. So right, like here's my phone case that folds. You know, this placemat, this cloth placemat can fold. I kind of went with something a little bit more, I don't know, kind of, I think a little bit more abstract in that we did all those cool paper origamis. Remember when I said we'd be seeing those again? And here they are. So I grabbed one of our folded cranes, okay? So once again, I'm gonna do a quick little demo here with using just regular number 2 pencil. Remember, you can draw on any paper you have. Paper out of the recycle bin, you know, scrap mails, scrap envelopes. If you've got blank computer paper, if you've got paper out of a sketchbook, awesome. You know, things like lined paper, graph paper, it all works. Grab whatever you have available to you. All right, so here we go. I've got my regular pencil, and I saw in my last video that my hat kept getting in the way, so I'm gonna try to stay back a little bit this time. But I do have my little paper crane off camera, kind of max drawing space, so you can see what I'm drawing. And I'm just looking for those form shadows to start with, right? I'm looking for those dark, middle, light value shapes everywhere in between, because the more accurately I draw those shadows, the more that this paper folded will look like what I want it to look like. And so I'm looking for all those wrinkles and bumps and such folded into the paper. Now along with me, if you've got things like a drawing stump or a blending stump, a tortillon, great. If not, remember, you don't need those fancy tools to draw with. You can take, this is just a regular old piece of paper towel that I just rolled up on itself, right? So you can take those, something like that, a little bit of scrap tissue, a little bit of scrap paper even, right? If mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, whomever you're with doesn't want you wasting the paper towels, grab some more of that scrap paper out of the recycling bin. And that'll give you some good stuff to do some blending with. Right, and I'm just observing the form, shadows, and shapes I see in the paper as I go. And it's pretty subtle. I went with not one of my fancy papers that has like a lot of different, you know, different kind of things happening. I went with something a little bit more simple, just the white paper, so I could draw these really, quite frankly, pretty folds that I saw happening. Anywhere I see those folds, those wrinkles, those shadow lines in the paper, I'm adding the little shadow shape I see. Okay, so to start with, I'm really focusing on just my little origami crane himself, and then I'm gonna get into more of the nitty-gritty of like the cast shadow. Don't forget that pencil pressure. So where we want darker value, I'm pressing firmer. Where I want lighter value, I let go of that pencil pressure and I'll lighten way up. So you can probably hear in the background, it's my husband, it's Mike, turning on the sprinklers so that all of our new plants we put in over the long weekend don't die, because it is a scorcher out there today. It is like 90 plus something. So sorry, that little squeaky noise in the background is our outside water turning on. There you go. All right, there's always something happening at home, isn't there? Isn't there? Okay, another little fold here. Kind of get the sense of that paper crane fold. Come over. On top of this is all pretty light here. There's a little bit of light value just happening on the neck of the crane here. And you can see I'm just kind of working back and forth between those different value and shadow shapes. Okay, this one's a little bit more complex than the top, so I'm going to pause the video here for a moment. I'm going to continue to do some drawing. We'll wrap up together with the cast shadow, and then we'll move on to the next step of our drawing. So I'm going to pause here, see you back in a second. Okay, and we are back. So I've done a little bit more shading and blending on my object that's folded, my little folded paper crane here. Okay, and it's ready to go now for my still life. I've got nice form shadow, I've got cast shadow, right? If it were shiny, maybe there'd be some highlights, okay? But remember, you don't have to do this just in regular number 2 pencil. Don't get me wrong, number 2 pencil's awesome. If you got it, use it, right? Use what you got. But let's say you got some other materials hanging around. Ballpoint pen looks pretty cool. Maybe you've got some colored pencils, right? Or maybe even you've got a tray of watercolors. Heck, Crayola crayons. Actually, these are Rose Art, not even brand, right? So Rose Art crayons. There are lots of different ways that you can tackle doing this folded drawn object using any number of different medias, just like we did with the top. Okay, terrific. So now, in our next video, we're going to talk about adding some found objects to our still life, and it's not going to involve drawing. You'll see what I mean. All right, so thanks all for joining me for this art video demo. You get what I'm saying, for the art directions, and I look forward to seeing you again soon in Miss Raga's art room. Take care. Bye bye.